Hello there. So this is a video I've been wanting to make for a while now. Actually, you can probably tell from the title, basic yoga. Yeah, I hate to break it to you, but if you do yoga and you think you're being so, I don't know, out there or whatever, you're not. You're basic. You're still just as basic as everyone else. Because a lot of people do yoga. I mean, for where you're living right now, it might not seem like, yeah, it might not be popular, but once you go out and, like, actually do research or, because the thing is, I guess what yoga is trying to teach is you won't notice anything unless you're looking for it, so, um, yeah, the yoga we do in the United States, for the most part, for most people, it's hatha yoga. Hatha, that style of yoga is like the basic yoga, or what I like to call yoga for people who can barely move. So yeah, hatha is very introductory. It's very light. It's like not even yoga. It's just kind of, I don't know. It's like yoga for lazy Westerners. Americanized yoga. That's kind of all the when the Eastern immigrants, like immigrants from Asia, came over here. It's like they had to Americanize everything to make it easier for the consumers to like digest or whatever. Like martial artists, when martial artists from China went to teach martial art classes, the United States government made them accept that they can't talk about magic, religion, or theatrics. So, I guess that's kind of part of martial arts that doesn't get talked about that much because we're not really supposed to. And even though I've kind of, like, I've taken private lessons, I'm lucky enough to actually, like, they won't tell you unless you ask. So, asking questions is a great way to learn. It's like, yeah, just ask for whatever you need. You need to just ask. I mean, people might tell you, no, you can't do it, or you can't, whatever, it's impossible. But, well, have you tried? Have you asked? I mean, you need to ask first. And also, I didn't want to just talk about basic yoga, like hatha, that's basic, but then there's, like, the yoga they do in the East, that's mostly like handstands, or like the more extreme yoga poses. They're not doing, I don't know, cat cow and plank and upward dog maybe and downward dog over and over and over again. They're like doing, there's one called candlestick, there's Kapodasana, which is a really intense back bend. Podasana, Kurmasana, or turtle pose, that's a good one. Also there, Ustrasana. Oh no, Supta Versana, or Supta Vajrasana, or Kundalini Yoga, or not even Hatha Yoga, which is very not actiony. The other forms of yoga, I mean, I know some people over here in the West do that, but like Vinyasa Yoga, where you're trying to stand on you're trying to like link your knees and your elbows, like, I don't know, you're hopping like a frog, trying to do handstands, like, I don't know, there's a lot to it, like, it's just movement, it's like, and then they say, like, the success of yoga isn't determined by the ability to perform postures, but in the positive change it makes in our relationships to others and in our lives. So it's like, yeah, yoga is more of a mental thing. It just, we do the weird movements as a catalyst to activate the mental activity, or the kundalini, as they say in the East, in the Hindu tradition. Like kundalini, I consider myself to have gone through a kundalini awakening. I bet really most people who do YouTube videos have done kundalini awakenings, or I bet anyone who does yoga knows that, like, kundalini awakening, or I know kundalini is I know anyone who's not just like pretty much living to watch TV, go to work, and eat. Like, if you're doing anything besides that, it's like that's Kundalini awakening. Um, yeah, the difference between Kundalini and Prana is the life force we get from all living things. That includes all plants and all I guess pets or animals, or especially flowers, or like just being in nature, from the air. It's in the air. And Kundalini is something only humans have. It's what makes humans special, or like um not all humans have it active. It's like, I mean, I think that's the reason they do yoga in the East. Like, they think it's gonna awaken the Kundalini, or help to start the Kundalini process. Like, I bet a lot of people don't know that the Sphinx in Egypt, the Great Sphinx of Giza, like, actually used to have a snake on its head. So I don't know, that's something about the snake coming out of the head supposed to represent, the Kundalini going up and getting wisdom from above and stuff. Or, so that's what I want to talk about. And there's also Kundalini Yoga, which is I like Kundalini Yoga because Kundalini, if you haven't tried it, you're missing out. You're missing out because it's so good. It awakens you to so much. It's like, because there's so much going on out there. Like, actually, right now, I bet a lot of Americans don't know that it's Holi, the festival of Holi, going on in India right now, which, I mean, they do some of celebrations over here in, like, New York and places like that. Like, Holi, we still do that, like, celebrated around the world, because, I mean, Indian people don't only live in India anymore. It's like, yeah, Holi is a time of celebration of springtime, and it's celebrating um, the victory of good over evil. That seems to kind of be every Hindu holiday. Like, Diwali is the same thing, good over evil. But that's symbolic of winter turning into spring. Like, it's a festival of colors, and you kind of celebrate by one, laughing, getting together with family. You're doing a lot of dancing, a lot of feasting, a lot of laughing. When people throw red and green and blue and yellow dye at each other, it's like a color run. It's like you throw paint at each other because colors are symbolic of springtime and new beginnings. And yeah, so back to basic yoga. Yoga isn't just about like doing postures. It's not just exercise. There's savasana afterwards, which, like, if you just go to classes, you're not really experiencing. Like, meditation is a big form of yoga. Like, you can just do it at home, which, like, I bet in classes they only have a few minutes or even less than that to do the savasana, the meditation, the relaxation. That's barely getting into meditation. But once you do yoga, that's supposed to prepare the body to I don't know, be able to sit for for minutes, like 20 minutes or an hour, half hour, 45 minutes, for hours maybe, like, because, I mean, once you expand the mind, it's like, because the mind is the ultimate tool, really, because, we're just doing the postures, the physical stuff for, they're being physically healthy, but if you're not mentally healthy, then that that's like not worth anything. Like the quote by Aleister Crowley is, "In the absence of willpower, the most complete set of virtues and talents is wholly worthless." So I mean, yeah, if you can't really focus, if you don't have intention, then it's worth nothing. You're doing nothing. You're just moving around. You're like jumping up and down or doing yoga poses, and that's not really doing anything. I mean, that also relates to how in that new Star Wars that just came out, like, I think it's The Last Jedi, when Rey goes to give Luke Skywalker his lightsaber back, he's like, he just takes it and stares at him, like, he throws it over his shoulder because he realizes, like, to be a real fighter, it's not about having the weapons anymore. It's not about the weapons. The swords don't do anything. You need your mind to be focused because, he spent all that time out in seclusion, all that time out in kind of all by himself, being self-sufficient. Because I bet he spent a lot of time meditating or training the mind, or because at the end when I think Kylo Ren, when the New Republic, or I don't know what their name is, the new Empire, or I don't know the bad guys, or actually I know there's a theory that they're not really the bad guys, like, so the rebels were the bad guys and the Empire is the good guys, but either way, so the people I'm trying to reference are like the, I don't know, people that were Sith, or like the people that had the clones, or like people that took hostage of the clones, or kind of changed their minds, or did all the bad stuff, and the side that Darth Vader was on. So when all of those guys were going to shoot Luke, at the end, if you saw that movie, it's like they were gonna shoot, like, every gun was pointed directly at Luke Skywalker because he was the last Jedi, the last thing left of the Jedi religion. It was, he survived all those shootings, which you think is pretty impossible, but I guess the story is like he just uses his mind to project himself. Because I bet that's one of the magic things that martial artists don't really talk about anymore. Or at least, because I asked, because I know about it and I kind of initiated it. My teacher kind of talks to me about that stuff. But, normally they're not going to talk about projection or like leaving the body or anything. Because, they're not gonna tell you anything about it unless you ask first. You have to initiate it. So, other thing that I want to talk about, basic yoga. Yeah, it's the mind, like, because the mind, when it's only focused on one thing, it's like, you might remember a while ago there was that Asian guy playing on Jeopardy. He was kind of a champion. He was doing really well. He was, I guess, really competitive. Like, people are saying he has this controversial playing style, but no, it shouldn't be controversial because he's just using his intellectual abilities to play the game. Like, the reason they were talking about it was because it was different from what everyone else was doing. Because he was going back and forth really quickly from one category to the other category, because because the other players couldn't keep up. Their minds weren't trained. They didn't have like neuroplasticity, or I don't know. They weren't flexible in their minds. Like they couldn't go back and forth so quickly between like I don't know, baseball Hall of Famers and like quotes or whatever the Jeopardy categories were. And so yeah, Star Wars I think is about like if you want to be a Jedi, you should start doing at least yoga or like martial arts really, because I mean yoga is like it's kind of like it's an introductory base, barely a real martial art. It's like all martial arts and yoga are a form of alchemy. They're just you're changing the position of your body. You're doing all these weird postures to you're doing all these subtle changes to like change your I don't know, to turn lead into gold. Like because that's what alchemy was. It was founded on the idea of turning lead into gold, but again, that was a metaphor. It's like everything's a metaphor. So I think the alchemists were, yoga and tantra and all martial arts. They're alchemy because you start with kind of this person that is very unaware of stuff, but then you do all these like postures and stuff and forms, like karate forms and stuff, to kind of make you more aware and more like to make the brain more like hyperactive or like kind of performing at the optimal level that a human is supposed to, that a human being can. So you experience all the like stuff that humans are supposed to. Plus, I want to say, so yeah, all martial arts and yoga and tantra, they're all alchemy. Like, yeah, like magic is a big part of martial arts. Oh, and Qigong is the other, like, they call that Chinese yoga, or like, Qigong is really not, it's like what comes after yoga, or like, I'm taking Qigong lessons right now, and they say that like before you can do any Qigong, you need to do at least 30 minutes of stretching. Which the best part of that, best way to do that is by doing yoga poses for at least half an hour. So it's like I think the thing that leads up to predecessor to Qigong is yoga. So it's like yoga is just warming up the body and getting ready for the Qigong, which Qigong is called moving meditation. So, I mean, you could just do meditation instead, because, I mean, I'm sure what they do in the East is just to, they do the yoga to get the body ready for meditation, to make you be able to sit still for that long. But Qigong is more about balance, or like, I know yoga is about balance too, but like Qigong is more about spiritual balance, or I mean, so is yoga, but Qigong is like when Qi is just energy and Gong, so it's like energy work. It translates in Chinese to energy work. So Qi it's what the Chinese call prana. So Qi is just life force energy, or like, because they say once you start your energy practice, that's it. That's the age you keep for the rest of your life. Because, it's just, you exercise to keep the body young, or to keep from losing moisture, or like, the reason deteriorating through life is because you don't do anything that humans are supposed to do. You're just eating, and like just movement is it's good. Any movement is gets the blood flowing, and like I also want to talk about fake news, like how movement is so beneficial, how just walking has so many benefits because like there was a story on ABC which I think it's fake news. It was that people who own dogs are more likely to live longer, or they tend to live longer. Well, that's fake news because it's not because of the dog you don't live longer because of the dog. It's because they walk their dogs. It's because they walk. Like you could do the same interaction, you could do the same movement with any other animal and you have the same effect. Or you could just do it yourself, you could just walk by yourself and it'd be the same effect. It's not because the dog, that's not why you're living longer, it's because of how you interact with the dog. It's because you have to take care of the dog. Because you have to, like, do mental gymnastics, or, like, you have to mentally focus to, like, take care of the dog. Because you have to remember to take care of your dog, or you exercise with it because you're playing fetch with him, or you're taking the dog to dog parks, or oh no, you're using the dog as a hunting dog in the woods, or you could just walk by yourself in the woods. It's the same thing. So yeah, basic yoga, it's like the introductory in the West is very not what yoga is. It's like even meditation. It's like when you just listen to a guided meditation on YouTube or whatever. It's like that's not even. That's like it's just awareness. That's if you just do a body scan. That's maybe relaxation with some mindfulness put in, but it's like real meditation. It's like you're not really seeing, like, unless you experience it firsthand, unless you do it. I mean, the real meditations that they do in the East are like hour meditations, or really over an hour. An hour is like nothing. That's like I told my brother I did 2 hours of meditation today, and he was like, "Wow!" And I was like, "What? That's shit. That's like barely. That's like just because we're running short on time. Because I guess proximies, like I learned about proximies, a thing called proximies in communications class, because the United States culture and how pretty much all other cultures, how we think about time is very different. Because I guess in other cultures, they just know that there's always tomorrow, or like, pretty much all Asian movies are always like, they're at least 2 hours long. Because, I guess Eastern people know that to make a good story, you have to have at least 2 hours of story. And they're patient, like, yeah, so in the East, things are very different. Basic yoga, oh god, that tired me out from talking so much. But keep coming, farm on, people. Keep coming, carve on, and stay cool, stay thinking outside the box, and stay snazzy, stay jazzy, stay awesome. Keep thinking outside the box. So if you really listen to me, if you keep, like, not just doing basic yoga, if you do the Qigong or whatever, study the alchemy or whatever, no, not just do basic yoga, if you do real yoga or real meditation, we can change the world.